Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Mariancho. Today is May 16th, 2:30 p.m. a dental appointment, and we are going live on Underdog drafting specifically two Best Ball Mania teams. I promised you that a couple days ago. Didn't have time to go live yesterday, and we are delivering on our promise. A reminder, if you are unaware, there is some incentive to be hopping in to BBM over the weekend. This is the Best Ball Mania Challenge posted on X, the Underdog Drafts account. 5 drafts, get one free in Best Ball Mania over the course of the weekend. I've already drafted one off the stream. We'll be drafting 2 today, 2 tomorrow, and then I will get an extra one in my account. So maybe you would like to join me. Maybe you just want to watch and see what happens. But speaking of free entries, I can offer you $50 in bonus funds. This only applies to new customers. Promo code BLUNT on sign up. Once you play your first 5, you get $50 added to your account to do whatever you want with. So that could be 2 Best Ball Mania entries. That could be 10 puppy entries. It goes a long way. You can get it if you're a new customer using promo code BLUNT. The link is in the description. And there's also a deposit match up to $1,000 available on your first time deposit. Minimum $10, but once you play that first puppy, you get an extra $50 in your account. So just wanted to let you know there is still time for you to claim your BBM challenge free entry in Best Ball Mania. But I think we're done with the promo. Let me catch up with the chat and get back to the main event. I'm going to bring this up on the stream. This is what we will be hopping into. I will get it set on my phone while I welcome everyone, but we will be live in that lobby pretty shortly. So if you want to join, I'll give you about a minute to get things prepped so you are not left behind. But what's up, Pepper Tony? You're fimped today and first. As always, appreciate you joining us. We got Rock E7E. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Second 2MD. I know what you're saying, and I appreciate you joining us as well. Jamie's in here. Bon après-midi. And today definitely calls for some music. I was waiting for you to join. I knew you'd hop in, and we will add the soundtrack. Let's get rolling. That might be too loud, though. Let's bring it down as it fades in. Yeah, feeling the vibe. Thank you for hopping in today, Jamie. And Disbanded Brotherhood saying, period. Thanks for joining us. All right, so BBM 7 draft. I'm going to trust that the location error won't hit. It hasn't done it too often. We're in this 20-second pick clock. I'm going to hop in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 10 spots left. This thing might take a minute to fill, but if you want to join us, now's your time. And hopefully not too long, but I'm very curious to see how the poll goes down below. We got a poll in the chat, and not sure how y'all will respond to it, but I'm very curious because I feel like there are some really ideal schedules to take advantage of. And I don't want to be biased in regards to my Chargers. Obviously, very excited. The double Mike McDaniel revenge game. Home on Thursday night against the Niners, who are going to be pretty tired and depleted at that point in the season. Then on the road back at the Dolphins. You know that's going to be a blowout. And then probably for the division, perhaps, versus Kansas City at home in the final week. That's going to be a fun one. For sure. So very excited about that. But when you look at the Vikings, holy shit, Viking schedule looks juicy. As long as Kyler's healthy, my main takeaway from the schedule release, I'll let you know right now, I think Justin Jefferson needs to move up the board. I think Jefferson should qualify for wide receiver 3 consideration. And if you want to still draft JSN above him, go ahead. But playoff schedule, I will give the advantage to Jay Jettas. The Juwan Jennings signing makes Jordan Addison a little more complicated. However, I don't think Jefferson is missing any time, any value. I am very committed to Justin Jefferson post schedule release. Not only do I think they have a great fucking spot down the stretch, I like their chances to make the playoffs. It's whether or not you believe in Kyler. I think Kyler's in the best situation he's ever been in his career. Chip on his shoulder, has to prove himself. Bad vibes after everything went down. Who knows? But as long as he stays healthy, I think Kevin O'Connell is a coach I want to bet on, and this should be a Darnold-level resurgence. I love the rushing upside for Kyler. Paired with Justin Jefferson, I think that's a really, really valuable stack. When we had PPR Tyler on the channel, me and him were in agreement. Kyler's probably going too cheap. We thought he could be in the mid 80s in terms of value. So I think that's definitely a viable value for him, and we'll see what happens. But did I freeze? I think my camera froze. Seems like the audio's doing okay, but we're still waiting on 10 people in this BBM. So I am indeed frozen. Let me try. Albie says he'll hop in before we start dinner. I mean, at the moment, no one's hopping into BBM right now. Did you see Bayou Bengals' new intro? I was not able to check that. I have not seen that yet. I'll be sure to check that out after the stream. I am in, and there are 2 spots left. Really? Did all my shit freeze? Okay, yeah. Thank God. Yeah, we do have only 1 spot left. The whole thing froze. That's surprising. All right. We're loaded. We got pick 4. Do I pull up Jefferson up to pick 4? Kind of tempted, honestly. But I think we'll probably just stick with Puka. All right. Here we go. Thank you, M. Stockton. Thank you, Jamie, for letting me know. And let's rip some drafts and get these nipples perked up. I mean, if that's how you respond, Stockton, to each their own. I'll spark it. We got the fire emoji. I'll light up. The draft is underway. We also have pick 4. That's a sign. That's a sign. All right. I believe this draft is starting in 8 seconds. Here we go. And with that in mind, as this launches, cheers to everyone in the lobby. I'll shout you out if I recognize your name. But if you want to smoke with me, smoke it if you got it. I'll see you on the other side. I did take Puka. But on the poll, one of the teams listed is the Rams, and that Seahawks matchup is probably why you're not going to vote for them. But I do think that game has the potential to be a shootout regardless, and I also love the Bucks matchup. I do think the Rams pulled a good draw. I mean, the Cowboys are not scary at all. That's going to be a coveted matchup for Week 15. I definitely trust Puka against the Cowboys, I'll tell you that. At Seattle, not ideal, but I still think he can deliver. And then at Tampa Bay, that's probably a shootout against Baker. So I like the Rams' playoff schedule a lot. Vikings, hard to fade. And the Chargers look amazing. And the Bears, Ben Johnson against Detroit in the final week. Sign me up. He gets at Buffalo. That's going to be a fucking shootout. That'll be fun. Green Bay, a little interesting, but I would still not worry about it too much. I understand, though, why the Bears and Rams are not leading that poll. I feel like I could have probably just kept it to Chargers, Vikings. Might have worked out as the two you really, really need. But so far, anything crazy in this lobby? Don't think so. Other than Amon-Ra pick 6, I'm not convinced that that's like terrible. No, I think I got to zoom back out. There we go. All right, pick 4 in Best Ball Mania 7. Wish me luck. Albie, not enthused to have pick 12. Could be better. I mean, a James Cook, Omarion Hampton start, that's nothing to be upset about. Could be much worse. I think the backside of the board is not a bad spot to be. But yet again, we see Chase Brown off the board at pick 14. A lot more teams are calling their shot on Chase Brown, taking him much earlier. So Jayhawker 4 goes Ashton Genty, Chase Brown. I'm about to be on the clock, and we'll review some of these teams for the first 2 rounds. Not ideal, not great, not excited about this. Damn. I do like the Saints schedule as well. I'm going to go Travis Etienne. We'll just say Travis. But I need running back. I like going anchor wideout when I have Puka. And despite missing out on the tier break, I am not convinced that we're drafting the correct players. Starting with like pick 20, I think there's a lot of landmines, especially with the structural problems of taking a Bowers or a McBride, especially McBride. I can tolerate Bowers, but it's not my favorite thing to do. Structurally, I just want to covet running backs, and I think that there are multiple players in round 3 I'm happy to have, and I think there's some landmines at receiver. So I'll just go with Travis Etienne Jr., the Saints running back, and trusting the contract he got. My plan is to take another running back, I'll be honest with you, at pick 28. We have Ego Robot right in front of me, so maybe he snipes me on who I want, but I'm willing to roll the dice. Hodge Nation at pick 2 goes Bijan, Bowers, and Neighbors. So team 1 and team 2, similar build. Elite running back, elite tight end, and then their wide receiver 1. But I'm on the clock. I could go Josh Jacobs, but in all honesty, the matchup against Tampa really speaks to me as a high-scoring game. And Green Bay gets Houston. That's not too inspiring. So I'm going to go Kyron Williams, get a double LA Rams combo. And I am starting to think the Rams are in line to win like at least 12 games, but probably like 13. I think the Rams could actually be the 1 seed. The Super Bowl is at SoFi. If you can tell me that the Rams are not incentivized to have home field advantage through the entirety of the playoffs, that is a lie. I think the Rams are going to deliver, and I still trust the Rams backfield. Sean McVay is not a play caller. I want to fade. So ultimately, running back in this range is kind of similar. I've not felt too great about Josh Jacobs ever since I drafted him on Candyman's channel back in March. Late March, we had a stream on Candyman's channel, and I passed on Bijan at pick 2. And kind of panic selected Jacobs back when Ken Walker was still in the 3rd. That was a decision that has haunted me. And the more I think about Jacobs, the less excited I am. I think the Packers actually got a lot of regression incoming. I actually don't believe the Packers are in line to make the playoffs this year. I think that division's really tough. Their schedule is actually not as good as one might think. I think the loss of their defensive coordinator is actually kind of big. If you told me Matthew Golden does not have the breakout I'm hoping for, they're like 1 injury away from being a very brittle wide receiver room, and all the names at pass catcher in Green Bay have injury risk and concern. So Packers a little scary to me. I don't think they're going to be in winning game script as often as they were last year. But GM Hartman, hope you're doing well. Let me know what you think of my start so far. We went Puka, Travis, and Kyron. It's not bad. But I don't think I've done it on the channel ever before. I don't usually pull up Travis this high. But Bucky against the Rams would be interesting, but that's a terrible matchup, actually. I think I'm just going to go J-Mo. Love the Lions all day, every day. Give me Jameson Williams. Never going to regret drafting J-Mo in the 4th. So 2 receivers, 2 running backs, high-scoring offenses all around. I'm happy with that. Other than now, we know there are bye weeks, right? Did I disregard any bye weeks? I mean, I have 2 Rams. They're going to have the same bye week inherently, but Travis and Kyron different bye week. Puka and JMO different bye week. So far, so good. And I'll have to try to remember some of those combos. I wrote it down on my notebook, actually. I have a list of bye weeks. So if I'm going to try and stack up Puka in hypothetical theory, in theory, if that's what I'm trying to do, unfortunately, Adams went pick 47. I would have definitely been in line to draft Adams. But Montgomery's still here. That's pretty solid. I do like the Bears, though. The Bears in Week 17 are against Detroit. They have a good run defense, actually, but I'll trust DeAndre Swift. I think he's an excellent pick in this range. And I want running backs I can trust. Good offenses. I don't want to take too many chances in Best Ball Mania. I want to draft effectively, precisely, with intention. And I want to be betting on high-power offenses. And the Bears are definitely not one I'm ever going to be upset to invest in. So give me DeAndre Swift there. And so far, I'm really comfortable with the position I have through the first 5 rounds. We have the elite anchor wideout. 3 running backs I think are all going to finish top 20, if not top 15. Swift, I do think, has top 15 potential. He typically at least delivers on top 20. But 2 elite spike week wide receivers and 1 that might just set the triple count record this year in Puka. If you told me Stafford sets another receiving record in what might be his final year in the NFL, wouldn't be shocked. Maybe we get stuck with the rookie, but I trust Sean McVay ultimately. Better than Jimmy Garoppolo, probably. So, in Sean McVay, we trust. Puka, Kyron, never a bad approach. But Bowers versus Arizona would have been my click. Not a bad click. I think he is ultimately a second rounder, but I don't like to do it until I'm at the bookend. I would rather have a running back I trust, and I really like the Saints this year. The Saints have an interesting playoff schedule as well. At Tampa Bay in Week 15. A little tricky, but division rivalry game could be a shootout given the Saints offense, I think, will take a leap this year. Then there's home to Arizona Week 16. That's going to be a fucking juggernaut. I think Travis could be a huge piece that helps you get into the playoffs. And then Week 17 at Atlanta, mano a mano against Bijan. That should be fun. Travis is a player that's capable of dropping like a 35-point game. He has more house calls than you might give him credit for. So I just like him a lot. I think he's a bust-proof selection. I think he deserves to be high round 3. And not too many teams are going to have that Travis-Kyron combo because it's rare that both of these players are falling late enough into round 4. And if they do, they're not paired up with Puka. So a slightly unique approach, maybe not the most unique I've ever seen, but there is some unique aspects to this, undoubtedly. But shit, back on the clock. Not the most excited, but I'll go Drake May. Backstack's available. I don't think he's a bad click. His schedule's kind of interesting. I don't know if he's the biggest winner. He gets Denver at home in the final championship game, but he's at Kansas City in Week 15. He's at the Jets the week in the middle, Week 16. Versus Denver is not good, but I do think Drake May is good enough to deliver and get me there. And I am planning to have multiple quarterbacks on this team. So he might be the guy that spikes in Week 16 at the Jets. Definitely possible. I think that's what he did last year. Versus Denver, might need someone else though. All right. I didn't really recognize many names in here drafting with us other than Albie. So if you are in here, let me know. we'll review your team, but I'm kind of just trying to lock in on mine, in all honesty. But tough spot. I'm going to take Jaden Reed. I think Jaden Reed has higher value than Mekhi Lemon, ultimately. Now, had I taken Jalen Hurts, maybe Mekhi Lemon would have been a much more obvious pick, but we don't go in that direction. I'm a little concerned about the Eagles. Their playoff schedule's tough. Now, they have a great matchup week 17 at San Francisco, but week 15, Jalen Hurts is home to Seattle. That's not good. Then he's home to Houston the week after. That's terrible. Week 15 and week 16, it's going to be hard to advance with Jalen Hurts, if you ask me. It's not impossible, but it's going to be tough. If you can carry him to week 17, maybe he's the piece you need at San Fran. Perhaps I should have gone Drake May, Jalen Hurts, because right now Hurts is falling, and I kind of regret it. For the sake of price enforcing, not the best to see Jalen Hurts falling to pick 82 right now to the Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley drafter. That team also has Justin Jefferson. Fuck. That's not good. Not good to be in a lobby with a team like that. Saquon, Jadarian, I'm envious of Team 10. I'll tell you that. Team 10 is in a great spot. Maybe I should have taken Jalen Hurts. But Jamie, I think you got 0-17 written backwards. Hartman says, I like it so far, getting different without giving up any real value, especially with that running back run before you. Yeah, the running back acquisitions I have are so valuable in and of themselves, just structurally, that I just don't think it's wrong. It might not be the perfect choice. Like maybe Bowers is really going to deliver at such a higher rate, but I think in terms of like how I can fuck up my team, I don't think I made a mistake by going RB there with two players I like. But at least I meant Cook and Hampton have the same bye week. That's a bummer. Yeah, both week 7. I got a lot of Cook Hampton teams in pre-draft best ball. Fuck. A lot of big board teams with James Cook and Omarion Hampton. Need those backups to deliver. But would consider pulling up Rome to correlate with JMO there instead of Swift since you already had 2 backs. Not a bad approach. Damn. Rico's still here? Fuck. I think I'm going to do it. QJ's pretty interesting, but nah, I'll just be really strong at running back. I'm not going to stop with these 4, but I could argue that I can. Hard for me to pass on Rico, pick 93. I almost pulled up Rico at 76. I like Rico more than Jalen Warren, Harvey, Monangai. I kind of like him more than Pollard. I also like him more than Chuba and Ramondre. So I think Rico is a steal, one of my most drafted running backs. Hard for me to pass. That team did take Stafford from me, but it's okay. He's got Adams and Blake Corum, justified approach. I already have Drake May. We have some stack options later. I might get boxed out, but I think it's a combo that works. I think these are 2 players that can ping pong, and I also believe in the breakout potential of Matthew Golden, paired with the injury concerns of Christian Watson. That team also has Tucker Kraft, so I'm not getting Jordan Love, but I do think the Packers passing game is valuable, and I do think that offense wants to pivot in that direction this year. So Stockton, in case I didn't fully finish the note on your question, I really wanted to enter this draft feeling confident at running back. I wanted to feel like I had a big advantage at running back, and I think it's one of the only ways to like prevent being boxed in and at a major disadvantage later. If there's one thing I'm happy with leaving my drafts. It's having a strong running back room. So I'm not afraid to take my third running back in Swift in the 5th round. I'm not afraid to take my 4th Enrico Daddle in the 8th. And knowing how gross the position is the rest of the way, it's a luxury not to have to stress over it as we proceed. But Olaf says, what's up, Blunt Man? Thank you for hopping in, Olaf. I'm doing well. And if you're going to call me Blunt Man, seems like more and more people have called me that. I'll take a rip from the pipe in honor of that. We're about halfway through this draft. So Matthew Golden, pick 100. The Blunt Man is taking a rip. Let's drop the clip. I put my notebook on top of my lighter, and when the drop was playing, I had no idea where the fuck it was. I was like, shit. All right, so I did perhaps cost myself some safety at quarterback in this one. But I'm going to go Wandale. I'm still pretty comfortable with Wandale. Still think he's going to get a lot of targets. I think a really valuable floor play. And this is a team that could use some assets at that position. So quarterback starting to get thin. We didn't stack up Puka. We didn't stack up JMO. We didn't get a chance to stack up either Packers wideout. And maybe I got a little too confident with some of my clicks. But Drake May's still good enough to where he could put up top 5 numbers at the position and really carry me. I will find a way to make this work. I'm still not afraid of the position I am in. 1450. Bring it on. I'm not the only team with one quarterback. And it does seem like most of us are on this side of the board. But we'll see what happens. On the clock, Kenny Gainwell's still here. Damn. Do I just take Kenny Gainwell and call it done? I kind of want to do that, but I actually love that Travis Kelce gets the Chargers in Week 17. I think if there's one matchup I want to buy into for Week 17 and really like catapult a player into my highly targeted assets, give me Travis Kelce against the Chargers Week 17. Holy shit. That's going to be good. Let me pull it up in a separate tab and bring it in. But Travis Kelce versus the Chargers has been one of the easiest ways to get like a 25-point game. Like, let me scroll through Travis Kelce's career against the Chargers. How much time do I got? Okay, we're still coming around the clock. Have any of you noticed that Pro Football Reference updated their website in a way that I don't appreciate? They used to be this like tab where you'd pull up their stats in their career, and then you could isolate against specific teams. Used to be that way. They got rid of it, and you can only look at their entire career. I really wish they brought that back. I got the free trial and tried to see if I could get it to just like, if it's behind a paywall, and they still just removed it entirely. I was so pissed. But I have it here in a separate tab, and it looks like we have time to take a look at it. So I'm going to share this tab. These are Travis Kelce's career stats versus the Chargers. A total of 121 catches for 1,474 yards and 10 touchdowns in 22 career games against the Chargers. And most notably in recent history, it's gone insanely high. Last year, he had 7 catches for 70 yards, 2 for 47 and a touchdown, 5 for 45, 7 for 89. But in 2023, this was against the Chargers, 12 catches, 179 yards and a touchdown, Back in 2021, 10 catches, 191 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Some of the best games of Travis Kelce's career have come against the Chargers. This one and this one, 115 and 3 touchdowns. Almost skipped that one. He dominates, especially at the Chargers. I think he's going to go out strong. I trust him. Sadly, I did not get Cam Ward to make it back. That fucking sucks. I'll go Daniel Jones because I'm getting desperate. And he runs the ball. Yikes. This team could have gone much better. I did not covet quarterback enough in this one, I think. But I also think having Drake May is valuable enough to be all right with. It's not the end of the world. But let me pivot back to the draft. I went Daniel Jones. And this is what unfortunately happened. Albie took Cam Ward at 133. That would have been nice. But not today. Nice. I do really like the Colts schedule as well. I think the Colts are actually pulling live to get a really, really high upside down the stretch. They get at Tennessee week 15 versus Cincinnati. That's going to be awesome. Damn it, Hunter Henry got sniped. Fuck you. Fuck you guys. I might just go Pacheco, but Juwan Johnson's not bad. Another Saint. I think I'll go Juwan Johnson. Get back in at tight end. Yeah, this team could be much, much better. Wanted Hunter Henry for sure. I was hoping that maybe I'd get Romeo Doubs. He went pick 109 to Albie. So Albie making good clicks. Can't blame him. They weren't making it back. That's for sure. But what's up, Frank? King of Kings in the house. How we doing? Antwall says, get called to Bluntland. Proceeds to smoke from a pipe. Yeah. We're not smoking blunts, but at least blunt has multiple meanings. Desperate for Daniel is a wild set. I know, right? You almost never see me draft Daniel Jones, but we pushed it, didn't get rewarded. Tough lobby. Can't blame him. There's $25 at stake, trying to win $2 million. Got to get your guys while you can. But we got Travis Kelce, Juwan Johnson. That's a solid enough tight end room to work. I'm sure the Mahomes drafter was pissed. The Mahomes drafter also has Allen and Brock Purdy. They might have gone a little overkill at running back. They got a 3-3-5-2 build with Taylor, Ken Walker, and Byshal Tootin. Receiver room. It's all right. It's all right. But a reminder on my team, not stacked up enough to feel great about it, but I feel like it's not a bad team. May and Daniel Jones at quarterback just need some stacking partners, but not ideal. ETN, Kyron, Swift, and Rico Dowdle, that's fantastic. Wide receiver Puka, J-Mo, Jaden Reed, and Matthew Golden, Wan'Dale Robinson. This team needed a Jordan Love. This team needed a Matthew Stafford. Even a Cam Ward would have been nice, but needed a Hunter Henry instead of Juwan Johnson. Could be much better. But maybe stacks are not the end of the world. I think I'll probably just go back to receiver and grab Debo. Not many players I like, but in that case, let's just shore up running back. Go Tank Bigsby. We can definitely do Tank Bigsby. Stockton says Goff instead of Golden. Yeah, that could have worked. Very fair. Perhaps Laporta instead of Rico would have incentivized the Goff decision. There were some pivots I definitely could have made. But we're in the 170s. I don't feel amazing about my quarterback room. I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers and just move on. I think he's going too cheap. Some people get him at pick 200. I'm not going to risk that today. We only have 3 rounds left, and a bunch of other teams only still have 2 quarterbacks. So given Daniel Jones is my second, he could really deliver. He could also flounder. I want a third. And y'all know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. It's just a player I can't quit. A value I still think is too coveted. 172 deserves to come off the board if you need that position. Jeremy Bernard at 178. A bit of a gut punch, not going to lie. Damn. Jeremy continues to rise. May can be fine naked, or last round Kyle Williams, Mac Hollins. Yeah, there's still a couple options. It's not the most devastating thing in the world not to have a stack, but I wanted Hunter Henry. I absolutely planned for Hunter Henry. I felt like I couldn't afford to pass on quarterback with Daniel Jones there. It is what it is. These streets and BBM haven't been in them in quite some time. And last night I drafted one in the FanSpeak 24-hour live stream. When Who Hames was live, I joined the BBM, and there were a lot of badgeless drafters. I actually got a really dope team out of the 7 slot in that one. Maybe we'll review that team briefly just to mention it. But that one was, I entered that lobby at like 1:10 in the morning. It was West Coast 1:10 a.m. The typical sharks were sleeping. This team has Kelsey and Juwan Johnson. It absolutely can use a third tight end. I didn't want to jinx it, Stockton, but that was part of the plan. I was hoping that I could have both Freiermuth and Jeremy by taking Rodgers in round 15. I was hopeful that Jeremy would still be on the board, and I could at least take him first. And if I had to settle for a different tight end instead of Freiermuth, it would have been okay. But at least I get some stacking partner. All right. Pepper Tony getting adversarial. What sucks is I think Njoku's one of like the best clicks in this range, but on this team, I don't think I can afford to take him. Perhaps taking Juwan Johnson was not the move, but I have so much Njoku, it's not the end of the world not to have another extra share of him. Instead, I think I'm going to go Zachariah Branch. I think a player that will contribute. Second on the depth chart, I need 2 more receivers with this, and I'll go Zachariah Branch. I think in terms of the depth chart, I'm willing to believe in Zachariah. Maybe not the most exciting college prospect. I didn't draft a ton of him, but I'm willing to take him at this price tag. Given he is most likely the number 2 wideout in Atlanta, I'm not a strong believer that it's Jahan Dotson. I'm not a believer that it's Olamide Zaccheaus. I think if there's someone that can mix in, it's Zachariah Branch. But most of those targets are exclusively reserved for Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson. They can't demand more than 85% of it, though. Like at the very least, I still think there's going to be enough left for Branch to be okay. At this price, I think he'll be okay. I don't think he's going to be a 0 at this price. I'll put it that way. So just give me a bankable player. And then here, in terms of Patriots, Who are we looking at? Booty was taken. There's Kyle Williams, Mac Hollins, Pop Douglas still on the board. Who's the Colts wide receiver 3? Deion Burks, Anthony Gould, Nick Westbrook-Akine. I don't know about that, but we also have the Steelers, and at this point, I don't think there's anybody else I can take in Pittsburgh. Not even Roman Wilson. So we got Freiermuth. That's our stack with Rodgers. But I got my rookie. Not inclined to take another one. Stockton thinks the Colts should sign Debo or Diggs. That'd be really interesting. The Colts still have just about $30 million in cap space. 29.88 mil. Not a bad call, Stockton. Not a bad call. Got to move price down based on him getting completely Mike Wazowski'd in the video. I don't think I saw what you're referring to in the schedule release for the Seahawks. Can't say I've seen it, but I think I'm going to go Kyle Williams. We were drafting him way, way higher last year. Diggs did move on. We're expecting A.J. Brown, but the year 2 breakout, definitely possible for Kyle Williams. He's a spike week type of guy. He's a downfield threat. I'll go Kyle Williams. I overloaded on week 11 buys, though. I fucked up in that regard. This team might be fucked. This team might be dead. I have 5 out of 7 week 11 buys. I'm not too proud of this team. The receiver room could be much better. The quarterback room could be much better stacked. The running back room is great, but I think it came at the expense of some other decisions, and then I kind of got a bit sidetracked grabbing Golden and maybe Travis Kelce. This team could definitely be better. I don't hate it, but I think even if it advances, I'm probably not going to make it too far. But I definitely put myself in jeopardy of advancing with way too many week 11 buys. Fuck. Okay. This is the first time I've actually felt like I should care about the bye weeks. And it hasn't been the case since last season. So, yeah. Could be better. Pepper Tony, which rookies are you moving up based on seeing them in the uniform for the first time? I'm not sure. I haven't done too much digging into that, but I'm sure when we see Adam Randall in uniform, that's going to be a player you want to move up the board. Fuck it. Let me Google it. I wonder. I just Googled it. There's no picture in a Ravens uniform, but I have a feeling Adam Randall will qualify for an honorable mention in this question, but all right. It's a sweet showing of a bunch of rookies in their unis. Taylor Green stonks up. Taylor Green. I'll look into it. It's tough with quarterbacks. Have to reach now to make sure you don't get sniped. Yeah. Let's take a look at Albie's team. Albie got ahead of it. He also had a bit of a bye week blunder, I guess we could call it, just for the sake of alliteration. Anyways, he has Burrow, Cam Ward, and Bryce Young. That's definitely viable enough with Burrow, Cam Ward. Solid price on Bryce. He's been falling. I've noticed Young going much later. And he does have Tet, so it does make a lot of sense. But James Cook, Hampton, and Rachaad White all have a week 7 bye. He'll be starting RJ Harvey, Braylon Allen, but I think he can get away with that. It's not the end of the world, but not ideal. Not the best. Tet, T. Higgins, Carnell Tate, Chris Godwin, Romeo Dobbs, Debo Samuel, and Torrey Horton. Very good wideout room. No complaints there. And you did have Carnell Tate with Cam Ward. So absolutely justified. I didn't even notice that. So good click. Makes a lot of sense. The Romeo Dobbs one was a little sad. Not going to lie. I was really hoping for Dobbs to make it back. But Kyle Pitts, Shigo Okonkwo, Gunnar Helm. Pretty solid tight end room. No complaints. Nice. You do have Burrow and T. Higgins. So not bad. The Bryce Young click will help you advance. Always good to have an extra bullet in the chamber, but they are all stacked up, these three. You probably have a better team than I do, despite the double bye week with Cook and Hampton. All right, I think that's the only one I'm going to take a look at. Ego Robot was in here watching. Fucking lurker, bro. Let me know. But typically, you can also just read the board. It says, sorry about the sniper. Forgot you had May. Went with him because I usually don't take him. Just don't take him. Just don't fucking take him. Damn it. To really move him up the board, you got to see the rookies out of uniform. See who's the most hung. That's one way to do it. I'm not going to do it that way. Just stick with good old hand size if that's what you care about. The Jera method. Your bye week problem trumps my. Yeah, no, my week 11 wide receiver bye week is really bad. Neglected. Very much neglected. If I can make it through with a JMO Wandale week 11, that's impressive. But only 1-0. Could be worse. I'm willing to take the chances. I don't hate the team. I just know that it could be better. With that in mind, let's try to be better on the second draft. An important criteria for some amongst us. We're entering BBM 7. Last one took a minute to fill. There's 10 spots left. If you want it, come get it. There was no location error, and we are here waiting. Last time, I don't really know what happened. It took forever to fill and just didn't. Yeah. Now it's down to 6 people. I don't know why that is frozen too. 6 spots left. Should be a lot of friends and family. I got to lock in. This is my second and final draft of today of the live. I promise you there's not going to be a third. Not at $25 a pop. Not really sure why this is like freezing. What would I do if I won best ball? I'd buy a home. Find a way to live comfortably. Buy some property. I feel like that's probably the best thing to do with it. All right, 2 spots left. Super flex for the real fans. After the weekend, I'm going to get my free Best Ball Mania entry. I'm going to do 5 of them. This is my 3rd over the weekend. One of them not on this channel, but 2 more tomorrow. And then we'll save that free one for a little bit later. But Stockton says strippers and cocaine. That's one way to do it. Feels like a waste, though. All right. 1 spot left. Not sure why that page keeps freezing, but this Best Ball Mania is going to fill very soon. Anyway, let me check the poll. I'm curious how the poll has evolved since last time we checked it. Looks like the Vikings are pulling away with this thing. Detroit, Washington, and the Jets for Minnesota. Chargers in second place with a third of the vote. Bears in third at 13%. Rams at 10%. That Seahawks matchup, not ideal. Yo, this is weird. Taking forever. Oh, somebody dipped? Bummer, man. Come on, I'm going to have to let people know on X then. I'm sure it will fill, but this isn't the most exciting way to go about it. If you're enjoying the live stream, we've got 43 people watching, 17 likes. I'd appreciate it if you could hit that like button for us. We got our second BBM draft of the afternoon, and that last one could have been better, not going to lie. But we will improve on this one. Maybe pick 4 is just not the spot I want to be. I honestly don't have a lot of experience drafting from pick 4. I have a shit ton on the right side of the board. And if there's one pick in the top 4 I don't usually have, it's pick 4. But no excuses, only trying to get better. We're going to have multiple entries in this contest, and we're going to try and do our best. It looks like I froze again. So maybe it's something with my computer. In the meantime, allow me to tell y'all about our promo. Promo code BLUNT gets new customers $50 in bonus entries after you play your first 5. So if you want 2 Best Ball Mania entries on me and you've never signed up for Underdog, if you're interested, you can get that sweet deal using promo code BLUNT. Link is in the description and only available for new customers. There's also a first-time deposit match up to $1,000. So minimum deposit $10. But if, let's say, you deposit $100 on sign-up, you'll get 50 matched instantly, a 50% deposit match. You enter 1 puppy, play your first 5, and then you get an extra $50 on top of that. So $100 total in bonus funds. If you deposit 100, 50 are guaranteed using promo code BLUNT. We're still waiting on 2 for this BBM. And in that case, maybe I got to drop a tweet. Holy shit, this is taking forever. Some of y'all getting impatient. We've dropped down to 9. So maybe today is just not the day. I have to do something shortly after like 4 p.m. So in all honesty, I don't really have more than like 2 more minutes to wait. So here's what I'm going to do. We're also going to hop into a different, cheaper tournament. And if it fills, that's what we're doing it. Keep getting network error on any draft right now. Peter says no jumping in stream BBMs for me. That's a fair choice. In all honesty, I don't even want to do it too much. But we did fill it. And we pulled the 102. Fuck yeah. That's why you keep entering. You get an amazing pick. Pick 2. Hard to mess up. Pick 2. You're at a massive advantage in pick 2. All right. Okay. You know what, A-Chan? You know what, Peppertoni?
Nice and blunt.
I really think that's the best move. I think if you're at the 101, you should be doing that as much as possible. I think anywhere you are, you should take A-Chan. Unfortunately, he goes Gibbs in front of me. So instead I'm getting Bijan. I am Gibbs over Bijan, actually, in my personal rankings, but not going to be upset with Bijan. And who knows, maybe we get a big faller at 23. Very unlikely, but who knows? Maybe we get a slightly more unique combination with Bijan at pick 2. But no complaints here. The Kevin Stefanski running back going to be elite. We're in business. Yes, the 102 is sweet. Whether you have Bijan or Gibbs, regardless, it's always great. All right, so Bishy 12 at the 101, Lance Former at the 103, Indy Colts 99 at the 104, Poker Toker 84 at pick 5. Pick 6 has Karate Demon. Pick 7 has Philly D 45. We got M Stockton watching in the chat at pick 8. He is on the clock right now. Lord Talion of the 9. I don't know what the fuck Team 9's name is. I don't know how it's pronounced. Lord T, a Lion fan. Got it. Something like that. Logan Lolo went James Cook at pick 10. Deep Hole at pick 11 goes Justin Jefferson. And then Libra 05 watching as well at pick 12. Best of luck, everyone. May the best man win or finish second and make it deep into this tournament. Take home a big payout in the finals. If someone in this lobby can make the final, that's all you can ask for. Whether it's you or someone else, you want to be in a lobby that has someone reaching the final. Lance is in it, the 103, so might need to zip it on my strategy at times. Thank you for letting me know. At least right next to me, hoping to prevent some snipes. But in general, on these stream drafts, I'm not trying to tip my hand too much, especially in a big entry like this. But Shamrock says, do you like the Saints this year? I love the Saints, Shamrock. If you are interested in my full take on the Saints, I went deep with Bayou Bengal last week. Check out that replay. We talked about it for about 20-25 minutes at the top of the video. It's in the timestamps. There's a section exclusively devoted to the New Orleans Saints. And I'm a Charger fan, so I might have been the voice of reason in that conversation. Damn, Hampton fell to 21. That would have been elite had I gotten him at 23. Was never expecting that, though. Never a chance for that to happen. And you know what? Not like the last team. We're going to go Bowers. Shit. Am I really going to go Bowers? I'm going to go A.J. Brown, actually. He gets Denver, but you know who else had Denver and had the highest score in Week 17? T. Higgins 2 years ago. Now, he was the wide receiver 2, but still. Bowers did not make it back. I'm more comfortable taking Bowers, honestly, in that round, but we're going to go Chris Olave here. And Olave plays for the New Orleans Saints. That will be a matchup against the Falcons in the final week. So setting it up with a combo in Week 17. I do think Olave is correct to come off the board in the third. We let Jeremiah Love fall to that team with Puka, but I don't want Jeremiah Love. I really don't. I don't want an Arizona Cardinal on a team I'm spending $25 to draft. Not my cup of tea. For Dynasty Superflex startup at the 506, do I take Ken Walker or Lad McConkey? So far, I have Josh, Dart, Neighbors, and Garrett Wilson. I think you take Ken Walker. Ladd is going to have a great career, super valuable, but if you already have Neighbors and Garrett Wilson, I think structurally, I'm someone that wants to win now. I'm very much more weighted in terms of trying to win now. He did just sign his second contract, but I don't think he's like super old. Ken Walker in Kansas City, pretty valuable, but I fully understand the argument that Peter's saying of taking Ladd for the sake of dynasty. Ladd is much younger, so also wide receivers, they last longer. Ladd is very compelling, but personally, I think I'm going to go with Ken Walker. I've never played Dynasty, though, so yeah, like I said, I'm trying to win now. I hope that helps. Keith says, good evening, brother. Thank you for hopping in, Keith. Appreciate you. You guys done after this one? Yeah, this will be the second and last, the final draft of the afternoon. 2 BBMs, $50. Not going to do a third today. We'll sit. I'm doing 2 more tomorrow, but at least stretching it out over the course of the days makes me feel less like I'm burning money. But thankfully, it is site credit, but I don't want to run out of site credit before I plan to. I agree with you if you're a contender, but during the start-off draft, I try not to overcommit to want to build to what my build is early. Not that I know anything. Yeah, I don't have the experience in Superflex Dynasty to have a firm stance on which direction to go. My gut says take the running back for the sake of your starting roster this season, but I suppose Ladd is still in the flex, so it does make sense. It does make plenty of sense. Running back is probably the most replaceable position year over year in your rookie draft, so I would get it. But receivers grow on trees. There's always good receivers entering the league every single year. There's a ton of really good talents. That's a replaceable position. There's not that many running backs that have this year's starting value of Ken Walker. And the Chiefs running back is typically a guy you want. Travion on the board. I think that's what I'm going to do. Is anyone else struggling to log in to contests on Underdog? Interesting. Maybe that's one of the reasons why it took so long to fill these last two drafts. Maybe there are some technical difficulties indeed going on the website. At the very least, I didn't have too much of a problem, but if it maybe is the servers down in certain areas, I suppose that is in theory possible. Hope it checks out soon for you, bud. Hope it's not down for too long, but I'm sure it'll be back up. Typically, their website runs pretty smoothly for the most part, but I mean, Evans is still here on the board. I'm going to go with Adams, though. I really wanted Adams on the last team, and I feel like I haven't taken him enough. And at the end of the day, I just want to trust the Rams offense. So I'm going to take Devontae Adams. I'm not going to lie. The Niners schedule scares the fuck out of me. The Niners, I think, are very live to completely collapse. They start off with a game in Australia. At their age, that's not good. A lot of travel for a injury-prone team. Then they go into Mexico City mid-season against the Vikings. That's not good. And then starting with that Vikings game, the schedule gets terrible. Home to the Seahawks, At the Giants, got to travel cross country, is not ideal for a West Coast team. Home to the Rams, at the Chargers, at the Chiefs versus Philly. They close it out at Arizona, but holy shit. That's a brutal stretch of 7 games. Mexico City versus Minnesota kicks off a gauntlet for the San Francisco 49ers. Not to mention all the travel they have. I don't like it. They do have a lot of home games after they return from Melbourne, Australia. They're home to the Dolphins, home to Arizona, home to Denver. At Seattle's not a long trip versus the Commanders, and then at Atlanta with a bye. But down the stretch, holy shit. And maybe he stays healthy, but I'm a little worried about the Niners. So we mentioned some teams I was optimistic about earlier on at the top of this live stream after the schedule. However, some teams that I think may have lost some value, at least from a win standpoint. Maybe this doesn't matter for fantasy. Maybe you shouldn't care, but that's a lot of tough games and a lot of old players I'm worried aren't healthy when that time does come. That's my take on it. After AJ Brown traded, gonna pass Pickens and Neighbors, I think. That's fair. I get it. At the bookend, I am fine doing something a little bit different and not just like locking in ADP. I like Nico. Still like AJ Brown. And here's the thing about the last team. I thought it was pretty solid, but one thing it was missing was a major stack. And Drake May, AJ Brown, Traven Henderson is what I was setting up this whole time. I liked the Drake May on that last team. I just thought it was missing some correlating pieces. So I'm trying to get it right. We go double Drake May today, and I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm back on the clock, and I think I'm going to go Tony Pollard for my RB3. Love the Brian Dable acquisition. Caleb falls, but I think Caleb can afford to fall. And structurally, I would like my third running back before the cliff. There's no guarantee I'll get a guy I really like at the next turn. So to have 3 by this point, with some valuable receivers still on the board coming around, part of the draft that's good to tackle the quarterback position, getting a running back here, and not fucking around. The guy I would have hoped for is Rico Dowdle. He went at 77. I think the correct click, ultimately, if you want a running back, was never going to have a chance in this lobby. So we get Tony Pollard, I think, in the same tier. I could see Rico be more valuable, but at least week 1, Tony Pollard has much more job security, and I don't view Tajay or Nick Singleton as enough of a threat to be worried about Pollard's value. I think Pollard is pretty locked in. As a good click in the 7th. So happy with my decision. Receiver room is balanced. The Patriots do get the Broncos final week. We did bring that up in terms of schedule. Maybe not a winner ultimately when you consider all the factors, but I do believe in Drake May. Year 2 in the system, bringing in AJ Brown. I still think AJ Brown's going to deliver. I think AJ Brown's going to have a great fucking year.
Nice and blunt.
But Anthony says, just join the stream. Out of all the drafts you do, how many you think will hit? I mean, what do you consider to be a hit? In the best ball tournaments, the average advance rate is typically 2 out of 12. And that's a 16.7% advance rate most of the time. Now, some tournaments, you have a 3 out of 12, 4 out of 12. There was that Frenchie last week where 6 out of 12 advance. So what do you consider hitting? Is it just advancing? Because that rate is going to be pretty low in the first place. It's definitely, if you have over 20% advance rate, you are typically well above average. Higher than 20% is an accomplishment. So the bar's already pretty low, but then for them to advance to the finals, I think is really what counts as hitting. That, realistically speaking, you probably have a 1 in 100 chance if you're a really good drafter for your teams to make it that far. I think I'm going to go Laporta. Nah, I think I'm going to go Mahomes instead. Mahomes can absolutely deliver as a top 5 quarterback. And there was a click I made in the last one that I kind of want to make again, but it makes way more sense when it's stacked up. And Mahomes gets the Chargers in week 17. Chargers had a great defense last year, but that was with Jesse Minter. Chargers defense can take a bit of a step back. It's not going to be terrible, but I don't think it's going to be elite. I think coaching really matters on defense. So Drake May, Patrick Mahomes. Our running back room has 2 week 11 buys, so got to be mindful of that again, but it's not the end of the world. I think I'm just going to get ahead of the run at the position here. Perhaps not the right move, but I want more receiver talent on this team. And I think Worthy deserves to go in like the 100s. But you could argue that he's being majorly slept on. So to have Mahomes and Worthy just locked up together is valuable. And there's really no guarantee I'm getting Worthy back at 119 on this side of the board. So receiver is a position that is coveted. We learned on the last go around, a guy like Romeo Doubs, not even viable to fall back to you. I'll get ahead of the long turn and lock in Kansas City. We'll go Xavier Worthy. Might just suck, but I'm willing to believe that his injury last year was the main reason why he did not quite deliver. So we have a Drake May double stack with AJ Brown and Traven Henderson, assuming that trade does indeed go through. Let's trust Diana Rossini's reporting. And then we have excuse me. And then we also have Mahomes stacked up with Worthy. That should be lit. Maximus says, I think they will travel more miles as a franchise in the history of the NFL. Yeah, that's not good for a team like that. A team that old should not be traveling that much. But we've seen them break down so many fucking times. It's not crazy to bet on that if Shanahan is not making the playoffs, he's only winning like 6 or 7 games. Like Shanahan, when he does not compete in a given year, fucking really, really does not deliver. It can be brutal in Shanahan's system at times. Stockton says Pickens 50% to get traded to Atlanta on Polymarket. Thoughts? I don't think so. I wouldn't take that. I think he's staying with the Cowboys. Jerry wants the drama. Jerry's going to overspend at one point. The last week of August, first week of the season, watch George Pickens sign a long-term extension. That's what I would bet on. Bayou, what's up? If anyone hasn't done so, check out Bayou Bengal FN. Check out our live stream with Bayou, and let me know, Bayou, if you ever want to hit me up on the second half of that collab. If you're ever interested, I'm happy to make time for it. But we had a really fun time. We talked in deep about the Saints and drafted some banger teams. Shout out Bayou. Give him a subscription if you haven't done so yet. But Jamie says, who will be Seattle's bigger first-round bust, Penny or Price? Oh, Rashad Penny for sure. I think Jadarian Price will deliver much better than Rashad Penny. Rashad Penny was terrible. Holy shit. First Down Fantasy, thank you for being a subscriber, a member. I just got neighbors at the 4-5 turn in a puppy. Should I be in jail for that? Holy what? The 4-5 turn? That's insane. Whoa. That's crazy. Good for you. Okay. Now I could go with Stafford, who falls back to me. Really nice price on Stafford, honestly. I'm tempted to go C-Rod, though. I'm going to play with fire. Baker's still on the board. Let's see what Bishy does, because an unstacked Stafford sometimes doesn't hit, but he has Blake Corum. He needs a receiver, so he goes Shakir. And then, what? What the fuck? Holy shit. I think I have to. Not going to lie. I really wanted Travis Kelce, but I didn't like how our quarterback room panned out on the last one. And in Best Ball Mania, when you have to advance in a much wider pool, you got to finish 1 out of 14, 1 out of 12 in the playoff weeks. I want as many elite bullets in the chamber. I'll take Stafford at 122. We might be missing some time with Mahomes. We might get some regression if Vrabel has to step down. I don't think Drake May is going to have a big regression or anything, but I'm just going to take Stafford. Bucket. But I was kind of planning to go Kelce, in all honesty. Peter says, yeah, almost exactly 1 out of 1,000 for a BBM team to make the finals if all teams had equal chance. Typically, I've done the math on most structures. At least last year, the baseline rate for your chances of making the final was 1 in 400. That was typically the baseline of the structure. 1 in 400 teams made the final. Now it's probably closer to like 1 in 300, given they've expanded a lot of tournaments, and like the finals are usually much wider this year. But in BBM, it's not easy. May is going to cook behind a new offensive line. He better. We have him on both teams today. Anthony says, I've done 30 so far. A hit for me is any draft that pays as long as it's not a loss. Thanks for your feedback. I would agree. If you get your money back, you did not lose anything. Getting your money back, I think, is qualifying enough to hit. You didn't waste your time. You also gave yourself a chance to advance, and bullets in the chamber, weeks 15, week 16, week 17, any teams that are live when the money's being paid out is a success. Bayou, I should be done with that for you tonight. Might have missed the context of this, but Jamie and Bayou working together. Love to see it. First Down Fantasies. I was sitting there like, no way he gets to me. No way. And he did. I was like, well, here we go. Welcome to Value Town. Is this the Stafford? Thank you, Garage, for hopping in. Yeah. Had to take it. Had to take it. We're on the clock. Shaheed made it back. Shaheed's pretty good. But I remember what happened last time. I'm willing to... Come on. Come on. Don't fucking snipe me. I know that this team needed whiteout. This team really needs whiteout. So let's not give him the value on Shaheed. Shaheed is a huge fucking asset for spike week potential. Shaheed and best ball is fucking great. 143 is a fucking steal on Shaheed. He's already going too late. He's already going like a full round too late, if you ask me, on Shaheed. So I'm rocking the 3-4-5-0 so far. And he went with Chigo Konko. I don't think I'm getting sniped with his third tight end. But damn, if it happens again, I'm going to be sad. Thank the Lord. All right. I think I redeemed the draft we just had. I think I did it properly. If we're going to commit to Drake May, this is the way to do it. We got a Mahomes-worthy stack as well, a Stafford-Adams stack, but really what's rocking and carrying this team is the Drake May, A.J. Brown, Travion Henderson, and Hunter Henry combo. The commitment to the Patriots will pay off. This team I like so much more than the one we just drafted. I didn't hate the team we just drafted, but I like this one far, far better. And surprise, surprise, you like your team better at pick 2 than pick 4? Who would have thought? Much better luck. Let's recap the team and remind you how this went. Drake May, Mahomes, and Stafford on this team. We got 2 Week 11 buys, but Mahomes carries us. Bijan, Travion Henderson, Tony Pollard, and Chris Rodriguez. A couple Week 11 buys, but Pollard and Rodriguez in Week 11, I think can deliver. I think I'll be fine. And then our receiver room is a much more balanced bye-week distribution. I have A.J. Brown Week 10 by Chris Olave Week 8 by Devontae Adams in Week 11, Xavier Worthy in Week 5, and then Shaheed in Week 11 also pairs up. But that's just the nature of getting a lot of players on the same team. Hunter Henry also Week 11 bye. I like this team. Very happy with this team. Thank you, Danimal. At least one of them has to feel really strong, but we're not out of the woods yet. We have 5 rounds left. Can I land the plane? Definitely need 2 more tight ends on this build. When Hunter Henry's your first, I think you need 3 for sure. There's still some good values late. And then I think we invested enough early on at receiver where I can probably stop at 7. But if I want to go 8, that's still possible. I probably am stopping at 5 running backs on this team because I have Bijan, I have Pollard, I also have Chris Rodriguez. I think I'm in good shape. Also, love that Chris Rodriguez gets a revenge game against the Commanders Week 17. Holy shit, that's a player to target. That's a guaranteed touchdown, if you ask me. Absolutely, Chris Rodriguez is in your flex lineup. Week 17, going against his last team, the Washington Commanders. That's a fucking lock. I'm not going to go Brian Robinson, but I think he is a smash pick. I have Bijan, so I'm not going to go overkill on the Falcons handcuff. Today, on this roster, I'm not going to go with Brian Robinson. But a player in this range I do like at tight end is actually A.J. Barner over T.J. Hawkinson. I might go in that direction, but the team behind me has Stroud and no other Seahawks. I'm not going to... He actually has Bowers in his second tight end already. So I'm going to go Tank Bigsby. I'm just going to lock that in. Y'all know me. It wouldn't be a blunt roster without Tank Bigsby. And I think that's the position more likely to get sniped. We had a big run on valuable handcuffs in the 14th round. Very appropriate names to come off the board. But I think Tank Bigsby's better than pretty much all of them, honestly. Maybe not Charbonnet, but Charbonnet's not healthy. So not my preferred direction. And then here, I like AJ Barner, but I also still like a lot of outcomes in terms of landing spots for Debo. And I draft a lot of Debo. I'm going to take Debo at pick 170. Tight end, I think, can still make it back to me with a value in the next round. So receiver, I think, will dry up. I don't think we can get a player with the caliber of talent that Debo provides later on. We do have a couple aging veterans on this team, but we also have some young guys, some guys in their prime, like AJ Brown, Chris Olave, fully in their prime, absolutely going to deliver this year. I love them a lot. I think they're great picks. Adams, I think I should have been taking more of all along. I think he's probably more of a 4th round pick. You can claim that his touchdowns are going to regress, but odds are he's still dropping at least 10. I don't think they're going to evaporate. There's no true wide receiver to take him off the field, and his chemistry in the red zone is just too good. Worthy should have a breakout inevitably. I trust the talent, but he's just going really cheap. It's worth the investment with Mahomes. And then Shaheed, we got it a fucking steal. Debo right now is a steal. I think Stephon Diggs is better, but Diggs went 139. Debo at 170. I believe is younger than Diggs, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty valuable. That's pretty relevant, I should say. But probably not going to get the same volume that Diggs will see. But who knows? Maybe Debo's the wide receiver 1 in Las Vegas. Maybe it's not Diggs. In the last draft, somebody mentioned the Colts as an interesting landing spot for one of these free agent veterans. Colts would be fire. Replacing Michael Pittman, definitely going to lead to a lot of volume. So that's interesting. I like Debo a lot. If you're telling me it's between Calvin Ridley and Debo Samuel, give me Debo Samuel all day. I think Debo's also younger than Calvin Ridley. Pretty sure he's a year younger, if not 2. Anthony is doing a slow draft right now. Good luck, brother. Those can be frustrating sometimes. Use the queue. And if you enter a slow draft, then you're kind of just like praying that you have more time to think it through and have more information down the stretch to make your final decision. So what I suggest in a slow draft, make your choice, put them in at the top of the queue, and let the timer run out. Especially this time of year, let the slows take as long as possible. Give yourself the advantage of drafting with more information. At this stage, however, there's not that many free agents that can move spots. It's more so trying to avoid injuries. At this point, there are a lot of injuries I don't want to deal with. But I'm going to take David Njoku. Absolutely give me David Njoku here. One of my most drafted players, and that's the reason I took Debo, because I knew that I would still like the tight end options coming back around. And as much as I think AJ Barner probably deserves to go over Njoku, I'm not fully convinced he will outscore David Njoku. The tight end position is a very fluky season by season position, very driven by touchdowns. And while I like Barner, it wasn't stacked up. Neither is Njoku, but I think from a value standpoint, Njoku should be rising and going much closer to Gadsden, let alone 53, 54 picks later. So I'll take him. Happy to do it. We took Freiermuth on the last one, so I'm going to pass. I think I'm going to go Trey Harris. Go with the Chargers breakout. We also have the correlation against the Chiefs. That's an interesting matchup, but for stacking purposes, maybe it's not the most critical thing. And with Njoku there, that offense did get a little bit more crowded. So there's still a chance they bring back Keenan Allen. I don't think so, but it is possible. I have a shit ton of Trey Harris already. So he is a good click in this range. I've taken him maybe a little too often. I will pass today. I'm sure I'm going to have plenty of other opportunities to grab Trey Harris, given his extremely, extremely affordable price. He's basically free. So maybe I'll covet him a little bit more on a team that doesn't have no stack available. On a Justin Herbert team, it makes a lot more sense. But Terrence Ferguson, I think, is the best, highest upside spike week guy in terms of the Rams tight end room. And that's a team that's going to be committed to tight end. It's crowded. That's annoying. But year 2 breakout, I think, is possible for Terrence Ferguson. The round 2 player, I think, can score from anywhere on the field. And I really loved him last year. So I do think the Rams tight end room has a reason to be drafted, and I'm willing to take him on a Stafford team, especially. There's not many stacking partners remaining with Stafford once Adams comes off the board. It's actually kind of tough to find any upside. So this team is really fun. This team makes a lot of sense, and making some bets that these gems at tight end in terms of price are going to deliver and really finish the season worth much more. But I like Terrence Ferguson a lot. Maybe Max Clare going to be a problem. But if anything, the rookie is the player that doesn't have much of a runway his rookie season. I think year 2, Terrence Ferguson will step up. Now, maybe he doesn't even ever take over from Colby Parkinson. Maybe you want Parkinson more than Terrence Ferguson, but just the nature of Ferguson's skill set and talent and just the way that he scores points, I saw enough from him to believe that he is the more coveted option in that offense. And I trust McVay to throw touchdowns to the tight end position. Okay, one more click left. We got a 3-5-6-3. I need another receiver, and I know the direction I'm going to go. I know exactly who I want, and it's a reason why I passed on Trey Harris. Jacoby Lane off the board. We are scrolling down and taking my boy Tyquan Thornton. Another justification of the Mahomes click. Come on down, buddy. You made the team. And the Chargers don't have the most elite secondary, but if there is ever a player they want to take out of the game, it is Rashee Rice. Tyquan has that spike week potential. So if Mahomes throws a deep touchdown that doesn't go to Worthy, it's more likely to go to Tyquan Thornton than anyone else. I like this team a lot. This team is very, very fun. We rock a 3-5-7-3, a little bit fragile, but we waited on tight end for such a long time. I think it was critical to take the third. And then the receiver room, I think, is good enough where it can carry me as long as I don't deal with too many injuries. Injuries, I think, are the only thing that can derail me, but I feel pretty good about the team. Drake May, Patrick Mahomes, and Matthew Stafford, straight fire, really good volume at the position, really good options. I feel exceptional about this trio. And then we got some good prices. We got Mahomes past ADP. We got Stafford at 122, fucking steal, with Adams, absolutely the way to go. Bijan Robinson, always going to feel confident with that. Travion has the same bye week, but elite spike week potential, could drop 30 any given week. Pollard going to be really, really consistent from a volume standpoint. As long as he's healthy, he is a great pick in my opinion. And then Chris Rodriguez will deliver consistently, but he also gets a revenge game against the Commanders in his Week 17 matchup. Going to fucking deliver for sure. And then if Saquon goes down, my boy Tank Bigsby shores up this room tremendously. Love the running back room. Can't feel bad with Bijan, but I'm really glad I invested in receiver kind of early in rounds 2 and 3. We went a little different with the AJ Brown, Chris Olave combo, but Olave is going to play the Saints, so that is a bring back. The Patriots stack with AJ Brown, I think pretty nice. And Devontae Adams, I think, is worth a 5th round pick ultimately. Worthy, kind of boom bust, but I think will deliver. If he doesn't, maybe Tyquan steps in his absence. Rashid Shaheed, phenomenal spike week option, great for best ball, and 7 picks past ADP. He's already a steal at 136. So 143, elite value there. And then Debo, once he signs, he's moving up the board. Maybe it's the Colts, maybe it's the Las Vegas Raiders. Who knows? Maybe it's the Baltimore Ravens or something like that. I have no idea, but wherever he goes, he will move up the board. He is going way too late at 170. Tight end, though, we got the stack with Hunter Henry, the value with David Njoku, and then the stack with Terrence Ferguson. I like the teams I have with 3 tight ends. Not going to lie, I think this year, as the league pivots to a lot more multiple tight end sets, not just 12 personnel, but 13 personnel. Sometimes there's 3 on the field at the same time. You want to take a swing with that position a little bit more this time. So getting the values, getting the depth, and honestly, I like the combo I have. I think it's going to be fine. We have a few Week 11 buys, but not too many where I can't get away with. And that was the problem on the last team. The lack of stacks was the problem on the last team. I think we rectified both of those errors on this one. So I like the second team much more today. Unfortunately, we're not drafting a third, not in the bankroll for today. Also have some activities I got to get to, and I'll see y'all tomorrow, but this is the last draft. Pat Bryant for the Broncos Week 17 bring back. Not today, not on my team today, but I don't hate the call. Not terrible, but Christian Gonzalez is probably going to lock up Jalen Waddle in Week 17. Bayou says true, not sure the context, but appreciate the agreement. What's up, Michael? You're catching us at the end. We're going to recap some other teams in this lobby, and then I'll head out. Just catching up with the chat real quick. Are you doing another draft after this one? And if so, which one? Not today. Sorry to say, not today. Peter says, nice team if your RB2 works out. Yeah, that is important, but I think I have the depth. I think with Pollard and Chris Rodriguez, I can afford the risk of Travion Henderson. But I think collectively, the points from these three will deliver. And then in Week 11, there's a chance that I get Tank Bigsby also as the starter down the stretch. That'd be fucking awesome if we make it out of here with Tank Bigsby as the Eagles starter. So wish me luck. I'm happy with it. Let me review some other teams drafting with us. We have Lance Former in here at pick 3. He has Burrow and Dak Prescott. He pulled up Burrow to pick 51. Does have him paired with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Went with Trip Whiteout to start. Very interesting team. Both Burrow and Dak are stacked up. You have Jake Ferguson as well, so good for you, the double stack on both quarterbacks. And with these pocket passers, I think that's absolutely the way to go. The pull on Burrow was justified, but running back may have paid the price. We got Montgomery, Chuba Hubbard, Kyle Monangai, Rashad White. Pretty solid, but a little tricky in terms of depth, more so floor plays. Nick Singleton and Katron, some rookies that can pop. Good luck. I'm rooting for you. Don't think it's a bad running back room, but some of the names are a little bit tricky to fully believe at times. But I like Kyle Monangai more these days. I don't draft much Chuba. David for the floor is great, and then Rashad, not bad at all. I think you made it out of the woods just fine. Michael Pittman is the 4th receiver behind Jamar, Pickens, and Higgins. Omar Cooper hoping for the breakout. Jalen McMillan at a nice discount, 147. And then Jacoby Lane, your 7th receiver. A little thin, but these 3 up top should carry you. And then Pittman, I think, is a really, really good click when it's all said and done. Jake Ferguson, AJ Barner, and Freiermuth. You're the one that got Barner. And the tight end room is pretty solid. I do think when you have Ferguson as the tight end 1, it is justified to have 3. So good luck. I'm a little worried about some of these receiver depth options. The running back room should deliver, but a little bit of a tricky investment. That kind of always is the case when you go Trip Whiteouts to start and then quarterback in round 5. Best of luck to you. I wish you luck, and that running back room will decide your fate. We have M. Stockton in here as well. He goes with a 2.583 with Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. So really strong, high commitment. Really nice price on Caleb Williams. That's awesome. You have him stacked up with Roma Dunze, so good for you. Chase Brown, Kyron Williams, Kenneth Gainwell, Aaron Jones, and Tyjae Spears. Pretty solid. I don't take Tyjae too often, not going to lie. I'm mostly taking Singleton that late. But Tyjae, if he stays healthy, could contribute. That's for sure. But up top is pretty good. I think your top 4 will carry you pretty far. Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Roma Dunze, Jacoby Myers as the 4th, Jawan Jennings is the 5th. A little tricky, not going to lie. That's not the most exciting wide receiver 5. Jeremy Bernard as the 6th option, Flournoy and Branch. You got some good depth. You have 8 of them, and up top, I think it's good enough. So glad you have 8. I like the rookies you pulled, and then Flournoy, not too bad either. Pretty solid. And then tight end, pretty good with Laporta, Brenton Strange. You also have Gesicki. Gesicki might have been unnecessary. Not going to lie. Gesicki, if he was a running back, I think I might prefer. Because Laporta and Strange, I think, can absolutely carry you. And you don't have Gesicki stacked up. That's kind of the only time I'm taking Gesicki, if it is stacked up. But who knows? Might be the key piece when you need him most. Not my favorite click you made, but it's the last round. So Not going to complain in the final round. Did we have anybody else? We had Libra. Libra was at pick 12. And then I'm going to hop out. I'll say goodbye after Libra's team. But he has Lamar Jackson at pick 60. Fucking awesome. Stacked up with Zay Flowers. Good for you, Libra. Congrats. And BBM, holy shit. Jordan Love and Bryce Young, you are living. You have Devon Achane, Ashton Genty. That's pretty solid. Quinshon Judkins also fell to 61. Great value. And then you're a Holani boy and Braylon Allen. So, yikes. That's gross. You waited till the last 2 rounds and got punished, but these 3 could be all you need. Good luck. Really talented running back room up top, but I don't like the depth. Just keeping it real. Zay Flowers and Luther Burden at the 3-4 turn. Paid off with the Flowers stack. You have Quentin Johnston as your 3rd receiver. That's a little tricky, but not terrible. Casey Concepcion as the 4th is kind of hard to believe in, though. Jalen Coker as the 5th is solid. Trey Tucker, Chris Bell, a little tricky. You have Kraft, Andrews, and Gunnar Helm. I think you needed another receiver, bud. I think I would have liked this team a little bit more if Gunnar Helm was a wideout. I think that's the only thing. Stockton saying running back tight end correlation with Chase Brown and Gesicki. I'm not the biggest believer that is really that valuable. Like, it's something, but it's not something I covet too often. I think it's okay, but I want the quarterback for the sake of correlation. What's up, Who Hames? Thanks for hopping in. We're about done. It's 4:12, and I'll take a rip from the pipe before I go, but this live stream is pretty much done. Anthony Perez says got to go to. Hopefully I can draft one with you tomorrow. Thanks for hopping in, Anthony. I will be back tomorrow. Definitely going to have the opportunity. And if anyone hasn't, subscribe to Who Hames. Check his channel out. Friend of the channel. Really great takes. A really smart dude. Knows a lot. Very thoughtful. And is very committed to being out here in the best ball streets. Great resource. Highly recommend you subscribe to Who Hames. But Who Hames says, nice, just got home myself. Enjoy the night. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Take care. I'll give you one little look at my team that I drafted, Who Hames. Let me know what you think as I pack this bowl. But went with a 3-5-7-3. Hopefully the receiver depth doesn't shatter me. But Drake, May, Mahomes, and Stafford at 122. Really good fall on Stafford. Bijan, Travion, Pollard, C-Rod, and Bigsby. AJ Brown for the stack, Chris Olave for the Bijan correlation, Adams for the stack, Worthy for the stack, Shaheed at the value, 143, Debo late, and then Tyquan Thornton for our double stack with Mahomes. I went Hunter Henry, David Njoku, and Terrence Ferguson at tight end with that Henry and Ferguson stack. That was the team we just drafted today. Thank you, brother. The first team we drafted today, I think, was lacking in some correlating bets. We kind of got a tough break at times. Then I also just didn't take quarterback at the right time and got a little punished. Team 1 today wasn't as good, but team 2 I think was really, really nice. And both of them were BBMs. I'm glad one of them was worth it. So peace out to everyone. Let me return to the single. Let me turn the music off. And let me just do the final touches on this bowl. We'll smoke together, and I will say goodbye. It's almost 4:20. I'm not going to be able to last the last 6 minutes, but in the spirit of things, let's stay true to the brand. All right. If you got it, smoke it. Join me if you would like. I'll see ya on the other side. Peace out. Goodbye. And one final reminder, promo code BLUNT gets you $50 in bonus entries for new customers after you play your first 5. Peace out. See you later. Bye-bye.